Tutti amici, ragazzi. the songs here. And I'm just going to get everything kind of ready to go. And I wanted to say welcome to American Woodland Relics, the Nugget Shooterette. She's been dancing behind scenes, I see. Ambient Girl Nancy, welcome, welcome, thanks. And all the way from across the ocean, we have Southern Cross Prospecting, another gold hunter, and it's just nice to see you here. We've got a great show for you today. I just wanted to welcome you, and also I have watched our guest for quite some time now, and he is an extraordinary person and an incredible nugget shooter and hunter. If you watch his videos, you will see, Bill has such patience. He kind of blows me away sometimes. But I wanted to just say welcome. I've got a little intro for him that he uses on his videos. We'll start with that, and we will get him right in and chat with him. And we've got a great bunch of people coming, and so here we go. Let's introduce.
Alrighty, hello my friends. My name is Bill Southern, and we're in the Sonoran Desert today, and these are my Nugget Shooter Journals.
Hey, Bill. All right, welcome. Welcome. Thanks for taking the time today, Bill.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice to have you on the show and chatting, and we've got a lot of people that will be watching and having some questions for you, I'm sure, along the way. So it's just nice, yeah. So Bill, I wanted to.
Can you hear me okay?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Do you hear me okay?
Yep. Yeah, you can maybe turn up just a hair. Can you?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I'll crank it up on my end a little bit for you. So do you want to try again?
Okay. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hear myself at all.
Okay. You're on. I've got the speakers on for you, so you might need to. Do you have headphones or?
If I put on headphones, will that help?
Might. I mean, I can hear you perfectly. So.
Okay.
So I'm
Can
surprised.
anyone else hear me? I can hear what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we can hear you. It's just good. I mean,
Okay,
I think.
perfect.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, I usually wear the headphones when I'm talking, but it just makes it a little easier to do some so you don't get some of the feedback. Sometimes people are watching it also on the stream. So, but anyway. But Bill, hey, listen. Can you hear? My first question to you is, can you let our viewers know where in Arizona do you live? Do you live close to where you go hunting? Is it a major metropolitan area?
I've lost everything. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay, something isn't working.
Oh,
I can't hear it.
can you hear me, Tammy? Can you hear me at the other end?
I don't know. I didn't do anything. I know I'm working on it. I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything.
I've got all the speakers on here.
There we go.
You got
Okay,
it?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you got
Yep.
it? Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to ask a question again. Hey, live streams is always technical issues, when you're going live. So, hey, you just make the best of it. But Bill, can you let us know where in Arizona do you reside, and are you close to your hunting? Do you have to travel? Major metropolitan? Tell us a little bit about your area.
Okay, I'm northwest of Phoenix in a little town called Morristown, Arizona, which is close to Wickenburg, which a lot of people may have heard of because that's a big time roping, cow roping capital. And I moved here actually for the reason to find gold, because it centrally located me in the Arizona gold fields.
Oh, okay, okay. That's cool then. Yeah, I mean, you're close to it. Yeah, that's great. Now, Bill, you've been in this hobby for a long time. How did you get into it? What started you on this journey?
Many years ago in the late '80s, I sitting around my house. I used to park my motorcycle in the house back then, and I was sitting in there polishing the chrome on my shovel head. And TV show came on with a guy named Buzzard Massey with the GPAA, Gold Prospectors Association of America.
Yeah,
Okay, him and his kids were out in Alaska somewhere. I don't know where it was, but he's out there with a metal detector finding gold nuggets. And I'm watching this thing, and I go, "You got to be kidding me! This stuff's just laying all over the ground like that." And I got hooked. I got hooked.
yeah.
And the funny part was, is I thought gold was just like laying everywhere if you bought a metal detector. So we'll go into that later, but it's not that way.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. So I mean, yeah, from riding your Harley to metal detecting, that's cool. That's a
Well, I
cool.
didn't quit riding the Harley till I think 2 years ago. So,
Did Tammy have anything to do with that?
um, what had to do with that is back in the day, people actually had enough respect and courtesy to watch out for motorcycles or bicycles along the road, joggers, anything like that. Not these days. They just they'll pull right out in front of you or run you right over. It's just I just
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
I made it to 64. I figured that's kind of like graduating something, and
No,
I figured I didn't want to go out that way. So press
no.
prospecting and hunting gold is a lot more fun to me, and YouTube, and this is what I do now.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that is really really cool. So now, so in terms of machines, we see you've got a lot behind you, and it looks like you almost have your own metal detecting store here.
I do have a story actually.
Oh, do
It is
you? Oh, okay, okay. Well, tell us about it.
I've been a mine lab dealer for 20 plus years now. I'm a multi-line dealer. I have Nocta and Garrett and all that stuff too.
Yeah, yeah.
I prefer mine lab for gold nuggets. It's just me.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, I do have a store. The reason I have more than one detector is I think most of us that have been doing this for any period of time have gotten to the point where we understand it really is not any fun at all to drive a day and a half to a new place and you brought the wrong detector,
Yeah,
or the detector you have isn't up to the job for the certain spot you're at, whether it be from the soil, from the depth of the ground, a thousand other factors. And I try to cover all bases. So I have more than one detector. And if I get to a new area, especially, I usually carry a VLF and a couple pulse induction machines with me just to be
yeah.
sure I got what I need.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, if you go out, which two machines would you take with you to guarantee that you're going to kind of cover all bases when you're out about?
Okay, we just skip back to depth of ground and whatnot. In most cases, I'm pretty happy with my Gold Monster 1000, which is a BLF detector, and it's a wicked little beast. You see me using a lot of my videos. You don't find gold so small you got to wet your finger and pick it up that way because it's just too small to grab.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I either carry an SDC 2300, which is a pulse induction machine,
Mm-hmm.
um, or my GP 3500. And I also have a GPZ 7000. Okay, well, people that don't know about pulse induction, everybody think, well, why do you have three different pulse induction machines? Well, they're all different technologies. The GP is your basic pulse induction, pulsing and receiving, like pulse induction does.
Yeah, yeah.
Multi-period fast is a technology, the SDC 2300, and it's like a pulse induction machine on steroids. And then you got the GPZ 7000, which just is incredible. But it weighs 8 pounds, and after half a day of swinging that and digging holes 2.5 feet deep,
Yeah,
it could
it
be a
is.
rough go. It's a specialty machine. I mean, you have that machine for a reason. Otherwise, you don't need it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, those pulse machines are heavy, and but I mean, they're they're an incredible. I've noticed that you don't get as many false signals with those as you do with the VLF machines. So and that's the bonus
That's
of
due to
them.
the technology.
Yeah, yeah,
A pulse induction machine is as opposed to a VLF, is to run a steady um, signal into the ground, and you can basically, in layman's terms, you're looking for something to short that out.
yeah,
That gives you your zip, or whichever your machine tone gives you. Pulse induction is putting a massive pulse of energy into the ground and then reading it as it decays. So to a pulse induction machine, anything that holds that energy longer is interpreted as a target. And
yeah.
therefore, hot rocks, stuff like that, decay rather rapidly, so the machine is able to ignore them quite well.
Yeah, I know. I've watched you. Like I say, you pick out the hot rocks in there in your videos, so you show your viewers like when you come across it, and how you kind of discern between the sounds for them. So yeah, it's very cool. Now, in terms of nuggets, I mean, I guess the average person almost kind of thinks, like when we watch you detecting, like they're laying everywhere, and I guess that's not the case. But when you go out, what do you look for in an area that would be for gold nuggets?
A friend of mine that I love dearly, a Mr. Jim Strait. A lot of you may have heard of Jim Strait. This is Jim Strait. I'm coming back. I'm slowly coming back. There we go. Tammy had this made for me.
Yeah,
I met him years and years ago, and he's always been a good friend. And he's actually the one that tagged me with Nugget Shooter, and it was from him that I learned that I had to learn geology, which put me in a total panic mode.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I'm thinking, well, geez, I'm pretty old now, and I don't want to go back to college. And he said, no. He said, you have to learn enough geology to be able to spot metamorphic rock and other materials that are associated with gold deposits. That sounded a little more doable to me. And he said the easiest way to do that is follow the dry washers. Okay, now he wrote a book called that. Now it's hard to get anymore. It's a couple $100 book these days. But what he meant by that is go where gold is, go found before. And the biggest reason for that is for us guys that nugget shoot and hunt gold is because the old timers were in there scraping the icing off the cake. It's like your little brother Bob that wouldn't eat the darn cake at your birthday, but he'd eat the icing off half the cake.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's how the old timers worked. They were working for food. They were working for shelter. They were working in harsh conditions. And on top of all that, somebody might stick an arrow in your butt when you weren't looking. And that's hard times. And they weren't worried about missing a few nuggets off the dry washer. And if you're familiar with the dry washer, if you're not, look it up. It's got a grizzly on it, which classifies material. The finer material falls into a ripple tray where it's classified. But they all classify to like 3/8 of an inch or a half an inch. What happens if you shovel up a nugget bigger than that?
Yeah.
That they okay, and they knew that. They didn't have the technology to check those piles, but they're finding so much fine gold and small stuff, they didn't care about a couple 1-ounce nuggets that slid off the top and ended up in the pile.
Mm-hmm.
But I do.
Yeah.
That's go where people have gone before, and what we have now, you and I, and all of your followers and all of my followers, is we have the internet. And you and me appear to be about in the same age bracket. So back when we started out, there was nobody helping you out there. There was no internet to go to. There was no free books you can download off Google or something to learn about an area. There was no Google Earth.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a lot more difficult. And I know, long answer, but that's the answer to that question.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is learning, and I've watched you, and you are a person that definitely gets there, and you learned. I've watched you showing the maps. How to look at the maps and so on. So it's kind of a cool thing that to see. And like you say, we don't want to be going back to school at our age to kind of learn, but if we can just get the basics, what we're supposed to kind of know, that's all we need, you know. So
Okay, well, just like with any locked box or any locked door, there's keys. And if you want to learn how to find gold, I don't know what state you're in. Over to the east, there's not a lot of info out there from the Bureau of Mines, and you're of course up north. So I don't know if Canada has a Bureau of Mines or they put out publications like they do in the U.S. here. Um, we can go for the Southwest, for instance, Arizona, New Mexico, California, um, Colorado. You can go on Google and type in placer gold deposits. Placer gold is gold that has been released from the host rock
yeah,
and has been bounced around the ground for millions of years. Okay, hard rock gold, whole different thing. But anyway, you can download placer deposits of Arizona right at home, free from Google, and you can look at it. And what it tells you is each deposit, what county it's in, how much gold was found, what the average size of the gold was found, how deep it was, what they used to recover the gold, and everything. And even the geology, the type of rock you're looking for. So now that geology you have to learn became a whole lot simpler because now you have something telling you what rocks you need to look at. So you're looking in there, it says metamorphic schist and slate is where the gold is with contact zones with rhyolite. Okay, so you look that stuff up. And it
yeah.
doesn't take long to start clicking.
Yeah, yeah. I know I watch you and you're going along and say, oh, that's such and such type of a rock, and that's something else. And I'm going, you know, and I'm going, oh man, you know, like how do you, you know, just looking at it in the desert, everything looks the same color. You know, it's so you know, to know. Yeah, it's all the same color, but yeah. But so I mean, you're out in the middle of nowhere sometimes, Bill. Does have you ever gotten into any sort of a predicament that you were kind of, maybe I shouldn't have been here?
You had to ask, didn't you? Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've had a few of those. I guess one of the most memorable was I was following a trail that an old timer told me about, and he was old enough that he wasn't getting out much anymore, so he told me about this spot, right? And I was supposed to look for a rock shaped like a Mexican sombrero that's prominent where a trail crosses a wash.
Yeah.
I had just bought a brand new Toyota Tacoma, first brand new truck I ever owned back in 2007, I think it was, something like that. And so I'm out looking for this deposit. It was a great little truck, four-wheel drive and everything. But I'm driving down, I'm looking on both sides of the road, and I'm coming up to this wash, and I wasn't paying attention. Well, the wash is washed out. And I'm driving along, I'm looking over, I see the darn hat. And I'm thinking to myself, and I got my dog DJ with me, I said, DJ, there's the hat. Boom! The truck hit solid. I mean, I was like running into a brick wall. What happened, the front wheels had dropped over the edge of a wash, and there I sat doing this in the air, and the rear one's dug in, you know, so that's pretty well stuck. But I carry food and stuff, so I'm okay. But
Yeah.
I got outside a railroad jack, so I got out there, and it took me a while. But while I was jacking that truck up and moving that darn truck around to get it backed up so I could pull over and park, and I was going to set up camp right there, I got a half-ounce nugget out of the dirt that I was moving.
So it was worth it.
It fell, and it hit me on the side of my leg. And I felt something hit me that was heavy, and I went, what the heck? And I looked down, and there was a piece of gold laying there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I got a lot of gold out of that spot.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, because you know, that's one thing. I mean, you know, when people look and see that you're out in the middle of nowhere, and you know, my area here, we have a lot of people go hiking up in the mountains and they get lost, and the search and rescue is always kind of going out for them. So it's nice that, you know, one's prepared for it, and you're prepared when you go out. If something happens, you're prepared to stay there overnight and be able to kind of look after yourself. And I guess, you know, you probably leave it for Tammy. If you're not back and such, Tammy's going to send the search party out for you.
Yeah, Tammy's home. Tammy's with me a lot. I'll tell you, Frank, that's the biggest thing. People get out there and they don't carry what they need to survive for a day or two.
Yeah, yeah.
My problem is if I went somewhere and I didn't call or come back on the same day I said, Tammy would automatically think, well, he doesn't have a signal. He's probably finding gold. So I'm going to have to sit there until she panics a little bit and calls one of the other people that know where I am and says, hey, you didn't come back. And
Yeah.
they'll come out.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
biggest thing out here is stay with your vehicle, stay in your camp. If you go out wandering around like an idiot and start panicking out in the desert, you're in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's one of those places that can kill you pretty quick. It can be
Well, I believe it. It's, I mean, my limited experience in the Arizona desert was one time we were in Scottsdale, and we got taken out in a kind of a little tour out there. And out in the desert, like, I'm going, holy mackerel, I don't know how anybody survives out here. But the natives did, hundreds of years, they survived out there. And all the people coming across, exploring, the pioneers, they all survived. It's amazing, you know.
Can you
It's,
imagine standing at the border of California and Arizona and looking at your buddy and going, okay, Frank, I think we're going to go over these mountains. And you look over and go, but Bill, where's the water at?
yeah,
Well, there's got to be water in the mountains. There's tanks in mountains, right? And off we'd go. Well, 1 out of 5 never got to it.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
higher than that.
yeah.
But they were going to get there. And that kind of pioneer strength, I admire that.
It's yeah,
Um,
it really is something, isn't it? That how gutsy they were to head out and hoping that they'd find something.
and
But
we do that today. That's
yeah,
what we're doing.
yeah, yeah. Now, Bill, for somebody new starting in this detecting and looking for nuggets, what do you suggest? How do they start? What should they do?
Join a club. Um, no matter how you're going to start prospecting, I don't care if you're gold panning, I don't care if you want to dry wash, I don't care if you want to metal detect. Um, Join a club or know somebody that has a claim that you can hunt. Um, you can't just come out here and walk into any wash and find gold. And you can also get in trouble out here because a lot of this area is claimed up out here. But believe it or not, you can call these people and they'll let you hunt their claims.
Yeah,
Um, don't start out with the most expensive machine out there. And there's plenty of dealers out there. You call them up and say, I want a 7,000. They're not even going to ask why. They're just going to sell you one.
hmm.
Okay, number one, with metal detecting, as you well know, when it comes to different types of detectors, it pays to do research. And that's another thing about the internet we didn't have before. We can actually go online and see what people are finding stuff with instead of listening to a dealer. But start out with a detector that's in, you're not going to get into a really good gold detector for less than 800 to 1,000 bucks. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
Unless you get a used one. You got 40-year-old technology like the Gold Bug 2. Love that machine. Had one for many, many years. Then the Gold Monster showed up. So that's what I use now.
yeah. I know
Well,
mine labs are great for the gold nuggets, and I
yeah.
believe in Australia they're almost everybody uses them over there.
Well,
It's yeah,
they started out making machines to find those tiny little hair-sized wires in military landmines.
yeah,
And then somewhere along the way, somebody took one home with them and said, let's try to find gold out here with this. And off they went, and this mine lab said, whoa, we got another market here.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
not as well known in the coin relic market as a lot of other brands. And it is what it is. People use what they want to use.
Hmm.
If it works for you, use it. And one of the biggest messages I would give to you and the people listening to this is whatever detector you have, if you master that detector, you're going to be able to find targets with it. You're going to be able to find targets where people say you aren't going to find targets.
Yeah.
It's like having a little buddy that doesn't speak English, and you got to learn his language.
That's a
Once you learn,
good
it's like,
analogy.
yeah, it's like this is easy. Now I know what you've been saying to me all this time. And a lot of machines, the higher end ones, whether it's coin and relic or gold nugget, if you don't tell the darn thing what you want it to do, it's going to spend all this time screaming at you, giving you false signals, and asking you, "Why are you doing this to me? Tell me what you want me to do."
Yeah,
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 and a lot of people get in trouble with that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
started training folks because I was representing Mine Lab back then, and I was speaking for GPAA shows and at people's clubs and writing articles. And I quickly realized that a lot of people are going up buying high-end detectors, whether it's a Garrett, whether it's a White's, well, sadly they're gone now, or whether it's a Mine Lab, or some of the other brands. Nobody will train them.
Yeah.
So now you got this high-end machine, and you've been working as a farmer all your life, or in a factory or something along those lines, and suddenly being thrown into a electronical box this big that's smarter than you
Mm-hmm.
is a nightmare at first. It's making noise. You don't know how to fix it. It's doing this. It's doing that. And so I started training people. That's how I got on YouTube. I
Yeah.
consider it fun.
Yeah. No, I mean that and that's great. I mean, I read, people buy these machines, they'll buy a new machine, and they're all these machines are really good, and and especially with the Mind Lab ones with Equinox. Oh, I got this machine, and I'm out here, and I can't find anything with it. All it does is it beeps and does all sorts of stuff, and they just don't understand what the machine is trying to tell them. So they got to start learning that language, and there's not that many people like you that would go out and show somebody how to run a machine.
You know, and I think, Frank, one of the most important things we showed is all that trash we did.
Yeah.
I would love for you to fly out here tomorrow and hunt out on this property in front of us from the early 1900s. There's a train stop burnt down, blah, blah, blah. Well, back in them days when the whole town burned down, they didn't call in the heavy equipment and load it in trucks and haul it off to the dump. The dump was like right behind the town or behind
Yeah.
everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
They just bulldozed it.
Yeah.
But that Equinox, I have one hanging right there. But that Equinox will hear through all that trash and still give you a signal on a good target.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the parrot machines I use will do that as well. The whites, I mean, I've used a lot of different machines. And people try to trick me into saying one machine sucks and one doesn't. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Most of these machines are very well designed. They're made to do what they do. You try to take them outside the box, you may have some issues trying to make them do things they don't do, but then also you might be pleasantly surprised. Um, but the bottom line is once you learn your machine, that's the key. Learn your machine.
Yeah.
And if
No.
you
No.
want
I
to
agree.
upgrade
Yeah.
it, all of a sudden you feel like, yeah. I get people who come to my store, and I'm a crappy dealer. Okay, I get a guy coming in. He's got a Gold Monster 1000, or he's got a Fisher Gold Bug, or he's got the Garrett ATX. And he's not finding any gold.
Yeah.
So he comes into my shop and he says, "You know what? I talked to the wife, and I think we're going to go with the GPZ 7000 because I'm not finding gold with the machines I have." I always put my foot right in my mouth and say, "You don't need a 7000."
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just look at me in shock and go, "Why?" I said, "Because you're not going to find any more gold with that than you're finding with what you already have."
Yeah. It's just you just got to learn that machine. Learn that machine. So definitely. Now, is there something that in terms of a wish list that you haven't found that you'd love to find yet, Bill?
Gold coin.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All these years, and I pulled tax tokens out of washes in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere. I found every bizarre thing. I've got one of my most bizarre finds. Let's see if it's handy here. Yeah, here it is. I've never found a gold coin. Yes. Anybody know what that might be?
No.
This was down about 2 feet in the ground.
Is it a cannonball?
No, it's very small. This is in Arizona.
Hmm.
Okay, when I dug it up, it had dirt on it. So when I took it out of the hole, it did this.
Yeah. The
Can
bell?
you hear it?
Yeah.
It's a Chinese medicine ball, a Benoit ball, they call it.
Wow. Wow.
They would roll two of these in their hands when they meditated. And I found two of these in my life, but I can't find a gold coin.
Well, I mean, I
That would
have.
be my bucket list thing.
Yeah, I mean, that is an awesome thing to find, and I watched the guys on the east coast of the states, and they're finding gold coins and things like that, and same thing with the UK. I mean, it's the UK crowd now is probably all sleeping now, but they would be finding all those gold coins, and it's amazing, But
It fascinates me.
yeah,
Fascinating.
yeah. But I guess with Arizona, thinking back in the Western days, that I mean, gold coins and silver coins were a thing that people used, So
For a while, you got to remember, Arizona didn't even become a state till 1912.
okay, wow,
Okay, so as far as old stuff here, there's not a lot of it.
yeah,
We run if we run into anything really old here, it's usually of Spanish origin. Um, something along those lines. Because the Spanish were in here taking gold and enslaving
Yeah.
the Indians. And
Yeah.
it was a bad deal.
Yeah.
Um, but if we find something from them, that would be the oldest we get here. Other than that, money from the 1800s is about as old as we get here.
Yeah, no, it is, well, even the 1800s is pretty cool to find something. I mean, Canada, being God, if I find something 50 years old, I'm happy, so,
Yeah.
there is a big difference in there, so,
Well, you
but,
hit on a key point there.
yeah,
It's funny with detector people that I've met in my 30 plus years of doing this, that it seems to me, and even on YouTube, on our YouTube family here, the most successful people out there are also the most passionate about what they do. They're not just out there hunting in the field. They're not out there. They're picturing the battle that happened there that they're looking for artifacts from. Or you're hunting gold. You're picturing what the desert was back then. You're interacting with your environment. It's just like all your senses are like going 100 miles an hour.
yeah,
That's what turned me on about doing this. That's
yeah,
probably why I was a motorcycle for all those years. But
yeah.
that feeling, that getting out there and feeling that history, just picking up a stupid little piece of a tin can and looking at it and wondering who put that can there and
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
oh, I know, I do. I mean, like now the borders are shut down, so we don't travel as much. But we used to go down to Southeast Washington. We go over to Idaho and areas in there, and there's some old battlegrounds that they had in there, and I've always wanted to go back and be able to hunt them and see what could be turned up. Because the history is so cool down in those
Are
areas.
your state borders closed as well?
Sorry.
Are your state borders closed as well?
Yes, yeah, yeah. We can't come across the states. Yeah, yeah. Everything shut down till.
No, no. I mean, within Canada, can you go from, let's say, Quebec
Yes, yeah. We can go over
to
to Alberta.
Ontario?
Yep, yeah. We can do that sort of stuff. But
Oh,
then you'd have to kind of quarantine, and depending on where you're going. We're out on the coast here, so we don't travel locally either. And everybody's supposed to kind of stay local, for now. But hopefully it'll change. Once some of the vaccines and things kind of start happening again. So. But yeah, no, I mean, it's incredible to feel that history. Like when you're in some of the places, you almost feel it. And I know I've seen some of the areas you've gone into, where old deserted homes and cabins are. That you wonder who lived there. What was the story? It just and I guess that's what our imagination part of it is too. So yeah,
well, in modern times, the hunter gatherer thing's kind of faded away for us guys and stuff. And it's like the worst part of hunting and gathering is driving to Burger King now. So you don't have to do that. So we replaced that by going out and metal detecting and being
yeah,
on the hunt, being able
yeah.
to track something down. And you do the research, you find that new spot where there was a cabin or a home out in the middle of nowhere. And you get there and you realize by the trash that's laying around that nobody's probably been there before. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, no, that is a cool thing. So, Bill, I mean, we've got a few photos, and I wanted to get you to tell us some stories about them. So let me, and I picked up a couple other ones in here. So, what was the story on these little morsels of gold?
okay. Those are found by a friend of mine, George White, in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted them up there because I miss George real bad, so I just wanted to bring him up. But those are from Alaska, and
Mm-hmm.
these nuggets came from the dredge tailings piles. Okay, so skip back a little bit when we were talking earlier about dredges and dry washers and other equipment. If you watch the gold shows,
Yeah.
classify everything down to a certain size. The big boulders roll off, smaller stuff falls through, and they get the. These are some of the ones that rolled off some of those dredges.
Mm-hmm.
And he found gold up to 15-ounce chunks up there doing that.
Wow.
And you
Wow.
can see it's all rounded. It's got a brassy color to it. And one thing you learn when we're prospecting for gold is, believe it or not, I've seen some of my nuggets show up online the people saying they found them. But I sell to a company called Gold Rush Nuggets. Matt's a good friend of mine. And of course, Matt's the broker. He buys gold and sells gold. And every now and then, one of my nuggets shows up, and I go,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I found
Yeah.
this and such and such." And
Yeah.
I can actually tell by looking at the nugget, not whether it's mine or not, but where it's from.
Yeah.
Arizona gold doesn't look anything like this gold. So why people punish themselves by cheating and trying to show stuff they didn't find, I've
Yeah.
never understood.
Yeah, it's
Realism.
crazy, you know. It really is. You know, I mean, it. I know, like, I mean, you've been at it for so long that you're able to say, okay, that piece of gold I found, and I see that with photography too, where I've seen I've seen my photo out. I can say that's my photo, you know, and there's something about that particular item that you know that's yours. You're the one that came up with it, you know, and
Because nobody else has your eye when
yeah,
you take
yeah,
that photo.
yeah.
So that photo was a moment in your life that you took that photo, and you know when you see it.
Yeah, yeah. No, so it's pretty cool to have those, and so and then we've got a handful of nuggets here. Now that I'd love to find a mittful like this somewhere.
Yeah, that was from Rich Hill, and that was out of one little wash, probably, I don't know, 20 feet long. And me and a friend of mine pulled some nuggets out of the bank of it as we were working up it. We got a couple nice pieces. And his name was Stan. He goes, let's dig into the bank right here where we found those pieces. And we dug in a little ways, and sure as heck, you could see where the wash had traveled right there at one time and got moved. Somehow it changed course. You don't know what goes on out there. A lot of earth movement with
Yeah, yeah.
tremors, stuff like that. But anyway, we started digging in this old channel. It was only about this deep. And we got, I don't know, it was probably 120 or 30 nuggets in a day and a half.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a great little find here. And then this photo here, we've got a 10-cent piece and nuggets all around.
That was one day at Rich Hill again. Rich Hill, this place is amazing. Okay. And Rich Hill was discovered by Pauline Weaver's party. Pauline Weaver was an explorer in Arizona. A lot of stuff named after him here.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a crew of guys, and these guys went across Arizona and bartered with the Indians and survived somehow going through Apache country. I guess it was because they never lied to the Apaches. So, but they got into this spot up by Congress, Arizona. It's right at the base of the Bradshaw Mountains. And they got in there, and they lost a burro. Okay, and back then, you lose a burro, you got a problem. Okay, because the burro had already been unloaded.
Yeah, yeah.
So now they got all this stuff, and either the guys are going to have to carry it on their back, or they better find that darn burro. So they climbed up on this hill, and it's a prominent hill. Rich Hill's pretty good size. If you look up the history of it, it's fascinating. But they climbed up this hill, and they got up there, and one guy whips out the binoculars, and they're looking for the burros, and the other guy comes up and taps him on the shoulder, and he goes, "What?" And you showed him a nugget the size of a potato.
Ooh.
The guy goes, "Where'd you get that?" And the guy's eyes were like that's huge from the description. He just pointed behind him, and they were laying all over up there.
Oh.
And that place has produced more gold than anywhere in Arizona.
Wow.
Probably anywhere in a lot of places.
Yeah. Huh. And that's something. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, those. That's a real cool story. Okay, on this one here.
Oh, they did find the burro too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh well, that's. I mean, I guess the old days, burro was like losing your quad nowadays. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, this one is a really good story. A friend of mine, Jim Boxberger, found it, and I'm going to ask you folks to guess what the weight of that is. That's our golden quartz and iron specimen.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and guess the weight on that, and the closest one will get one of my hats, and Frank will figure out who that is later because I can't watch this thing going by me.
Yeah. I mean,
oh, anyway,
that's almost the size of a baseball, right?
3,000 off me.
Yeah, that's about the size of a baseball.
Yeah, stretched out baseball a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Jimmy's got good place, average man hands.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, I managed a trailer court here in Morristown for many, many years. And I just retired from that as a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy had just bought a GP 3000 from me, oh, I don't know, 3 weeks before this happened. It's fine. And they were getting ready to go back to Colorado, him and his wife, Vicky. And he comes in my office up there and he goes, yeah, and he goes, I need to get a nugget with this machine. He goes, I haven't found a nugget with my new machine. I'm doing good with my other one, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, Jimmy, I'm going to send you to Never Ending Wash. Okay, well, how did you get that name? Well, we named it that because every time it rains, you can go back to this wash and get a couple more pieces of gold that come out of the bank or whatever it is
Yeah.
when I flash flood. I sent him up there and I drew him a map on a napkin. Well, the napkin got wet. So he didn't have the napkin. So he drives up here and he goes all the way up to where I told him to turn. Well, he took a right instead of a left. And then he got to the base of a mine up here. This is all behind my house, less than 8 miles from my house.
Yeah.
I've been out there for all these years, never find anything like that. But anyway, he gets up and runs into a waterfall, so he can't go any farther. So he's all disgruntled. He turns around and starts driving back, and he sees an old camp area. And he gets out of his truck. He walks over there and starts looking at the evidence in the camp area, and he noticed all the cans were solder dot cans. Now, a lot of us know what they are, but a lot of us don't. Okay, back in the pre-1920, 21 era, when they canned something, they heat it up just like we do now, except now we put a nice little rubberized lid on there and it's screw tank.
Yeah.
Back then, they got those cans real hot, so all the oxygen steamed out of the can, then they'd hit it with a dot of solder. And then your cans of peaches or whatever it was were sealed and great to eat, except for they had lead in them. Well, they figured out in the 20s, late 20s or early 20s, that lead was pretty poisonous, so they quit using that method.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he noticed all those old cans. He got to looking around, walking around a little bit. And he walked around the corner, and there's a little spot where a wash came into the main wash, tributary, we called it. And there was a pile of coarse gravel there from a dry wash header. Because as they run, like I said before, the coarse stuff goes up here, the fine stuff goes here. So he started walking up that wash and hunting. Well, it was nothing but trash. He dug a bunch of trash. And they got to the first little waterfall that's only about 3 feet high. And there's a big chunk of iron roofing laying there. Well, the old timers have been sliding the stuff from above down that iron roofing to the guy below with the dry washer. So there's chips of metal and everything else in it. He got up above that little waterfall and he found a little bitty nugget. And he was pretty happy about that. So he kept going up that waterfall, and Jimmy smoked cigars, Swisher Sweets, big fat one. And he gets a target. And he looks down, it's just a screamer. Okay, there's a screamer like you'd hear when you got a Pepsi can at
Yeah.
8 inches deep. Okay, so here's a screamer. So he reached down. What we do is we kick the crap out of the way if it's hot rock or whatever. Then we throw it in our pouch and move on. Well, he kicked it and it hurt his foot. So he looked down there. Well, the wash is only like this deep, so when he kicked it, he moved that much dirt, and he could see the part of the nugget. If you're looking at it, just below where his thumb is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gold going through. He said he brushed off a little bit, and he about had a heart attack. He lit one of them Swisher Sweets. He sat on the bank, and he's puffing on that cigar, and he looked down there, and he reached down to brush a little more dirt off there. Sucking on that cigar, you know. And he got the whole top off, and the darn thing still wasn't moving. It gotten caught in a crack in that little wash, and it probably been there for who knows.
Yeah. Yeah.
That pooped on it for all we know, somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
But
That's something. Yeah.
And here comes the weight.
Yeah.
And the total weight on this thing was 2.27 pounds.
That's 616, almost 30 ounces.
A troy ounce.
Yeah, wow. Wow.
Okay, and it had 1.57 pounds of gold in it.
That's a lot. I know, I think I talked to you once before. You found a little piece of gold with some quartz, and I asked you, like, okay, how do you extract the gold? You said just crush it, you know, break it up and get the gold out. Yeah, you know. So.
You do, but for something like this, San Domingo district, nobody ever found a nugget that big.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one ever found here, and this placer area's been here since the 1800s.
Yeah.
So he ended up selling that to Perry Massey from the GPAA, And back then, it's sad because back then gold was only $300 an ounce. So
Oh.
I don't know what he got for it. It's it's 20 something $1,000, but now it's been worth.
Ooh, it's crazy amount of money. Yeah, crazy
Yeah.
amount. Now this photo, I put this in, Bill, because I wanted to show all the Equinox people that, hey, we can have a little 6-inch coil and we can find gold nuggets, which you did here.
Absolutely. Um, that Equinox, okay, here's another story. I might stretch you past your time, man, but here we go.
Oh, hey,
The
it's your
Equinox,
show. It's your show.
okay, I've been doing this for a long time. Okay, and I've watched many companies come out with a detector that would do everything magically. You can find gold, you can find fairies, you can find coins, you know, and none of them ever really added up to it. Because in the past with analog machines and stuff, you got to take away from a machine's ability to do one thing to make it do two things.
Yeah, yeah.
Then comes technology and microprocessors and computers and all the wonderful stuff we have right now. That's changed everything. So the Equinox came out right after. I think the first one I really got excited about was a Garrett Infinium. Remember that one?
I never was in the Garrett. I have the whites and just the Equinoxes.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah,
And it didn't do what it should. It's a wonderful coin relic machine, but it just couldn't handle the hot ground out there. So, and I used to work with Eric Foster and Bill Crabtree before White's picked up the TBI, and I did a lot of testing before White's got a hold of that machine. And then finally White's picked up the patent on that. And Crabtree and Eric Foster kind of faded off into the background.
mm-hmm.
And that machine was another really good coin relic machine. And you could hear a nickel all the way to China with that thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
in the gold fields, it struggled with the high.
Yeah.
And nowadays, though, they have the technology that these machines, I mean, after all we're really trying to do is make the ground invisible so we can hear stuff in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
If we can make the other crap invisible too that we don't want, that'd be even better. But it doesn't work out that way.
No, that's pretty cool. I mean, like I say, when I saw that with that little 6-inch coil picking out these nuggets, and it just so it's cool.
Next one.
Yeah.
If you live in BC, if
Yeah.
you live in Illinois, if you live in Virginia, somewhere back east where the majority of your hunting is going to be coin and relic, it's a wicked little machine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's other machines out there do this and that, but all around that Equinox is
Yeah.
really.
Oh, it is great. It covers everything, pretty well.
The
So
best part is it really will hunt gold. You get
Yeah,
out here in the gold
yeah.
fields and you got an Equinox. I'm not going to look at you and go, well, I don't want to
Yeah.
take you out with the machine. That one will actually come out here and be able to hunt next to a Gold Monster
Yeah.
1000 or Gold Bug 2 and do 99% as well in the radio.
Yeah, and I like the tone when you're using that machine and you go sweeping back and forth. I just like that tone. I always say that's the gold tone. Like it's yeah.
Well, you know what that is, Frank? It's just a double D coil.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool.
For a double D coil, it's passing over both those windings.
Yeah.
It's just pulling the coil. It just goes, whoa, pow!
Oh, yeah, great sound. Now this one here, you dug this and you were surprised what you found here.
I thought that was gold for sure. I can't. That was recently.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even believe it. It was caught down in the crack down here in the bedrock there, and it was on the edge. So I had trouble with it. I moved it around a little bit, and I got back on the edge, and I couldn't find it for a second. And up comes a tax token, and I could not believe it. In the middle of a wash, no human beings living anywhere for miles and miles, and this thing was laying out there.
Mm-hmm.
And now, don't get me wrong, I found silver coins and washes. I found plenty of Levi buttons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of untold stories in the Arizona desert, Frank. So who knows how that really got there?
Mm-hmm.
That one really made me sit down and think about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just it is a deep hole in that crevice there to come up and find that. It is quite something. And I know you and Tammy, you travel around, and so when I saw this video of you guys out looking for these crystals, my wife and I got on it very quickly, and we're saying we got to go to this place. So tell us the story
We
about
have an
these
open
crystals.
invite, my friend. If you want to come out here, I will take you and your wife there and put you right on it.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that today, wasn't
Yeah, these are cool. Okay, they're called Payson diamonds. And they come from a place called Diamond Point up on the Mogollon Rim, which is not spelled anything like that.
Yeah.
You come to Arizona, everything's spelled wrong. You figure it out. You got to sound it out to yourself, and it sounds like Mogollon. Mogollon, or Saguaro is like Cigarro.
Yeah.
And you know right away you're agreeing here when you say stuff like that. Choyak accent, people go Chola,
Chola,
so
yeah.
everything's spelled wrong. These Payson diamonds are the same chemical makeup as the Herkimer diamonds in New York.
Yeah.
And there's
Wow.
only 5 or 6 places in the world that these methane and oxygen-based crystals form. And Payson, Arizona is one of them. And it's harder than quartz, harder than glass, of course. But when you dig something out like that, it's just such an amazing thing.
I know. I watched you guys, digging these things out. I'm going, man, oh man. I was surprised that wasn't more people around, looking for these. But and then, you can even get kind of picky and put back the smaller ones and just keep the big ones. So that's cool.
First it's that, oh, I'm so excited in the greed thing. Everything goes in the can.
Yeah.
After a while, you realize that you're after a trophy all of a sudden instead of just after
Yeah.
shines. And those would probably be more to some kid in a class that comes out there to dig for a half hour one day or something like that. So we throw them back. But when we found stuff like that, we kept it.
Yeah. Now, are these the type of crystals that people?
Look at this.
Oh.
Hi.
Hey, Tammy, how are you?
I was going to say I love crystal digging.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
think you're holding this one here. I've got your photo on there, and it is a cool thing. Now, is this the type of crystals that people use for, like, they're supposed to be good for healing or something like that? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Big time. These crystals, if you look them up, as well as the Herkimer type, are some of the crystal people out there. I don't know that much about it. I think they're really pretty, and I think they're cool, and maybe they do have some sort of a power. But after all, they make radios work.
Right.
So how could they not have some sort of power?
Yeah.
But anyway, people that are into all that get freaked out by these, and some of them can't hold them or carry them.
Wow. Yeah. That is cool. I got this photo here. It's,
That's one of my favorite photos.
Yeah. So you've got a whole selection of them, and now are there different colors of them, or are they all kind of clear?
It depends.
I can see the one has more iron in it. The one with the red have more iron.
It depends on trace minerals. Okay, as these things are forming, they're also picking up any trace minerals that are with them. If copper's with them, you're going to get some blues and some purples. If different minerals mean different colors, red is going to be iron. You get some yellows, depending on what other chemicals are present when they're forming. Of course, the prize ones are the clear ones. But for me, I'd like to find one of the pink ones or one of the purple ones.
Yeah.
I would love to find amethyst. That's
Yeah, they're cool. Those are just really, really cool. Now, this photo is you've got a story, and you found this out in the middle of nowhere, I guess, and you can see the dry Arizona air on this material.
That was laying there for so long in that can.
Yeah.
When you find something like that, the guy's been gone forever.
Yeah.
I've almost been tempted sometimes to try to track the families down, but then I feel like, well, it's not like calling somebody to return a ring. And I just found some paperwork from your long lost grandfather.
Yeah.
And I got $100 ring of yours. I'm a little shy about doing that. But, again, the history, but also the clues. You can find the date, and that may also coincide with other evidence you found on site. And it's just a lesson learning thing.
Yeah. Well, that's the cool thing about Arizona, with that dry air, is things really, they'll dry up, but they don't really get destroyed, as per se. So
Nope, they're really fragile. If I touch that stuff, much it crumble.
I was watching you, and I can hear it kind of crackling when you were, trying to look at it. So
We have meteorites here too. They're very common. We have several strewn fields where meteorites have come into the atmosphere and blew up.
Yeah.
And pieces everywhere. And actually, I have one with my name on it.
Yeah.
You can't walk away from all those hot rocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's a cool thing. And I have one more photo here. And I guess you probably know where that is. You've been out there, so this is what, for the average person, when you get out in the desert, this is what it looks like. You get out and you go, okay, there's a gold nugget out there somewhere.
And there's actually one right out this little trail. A little walk right over, just past where that big, what looks like a bush is actually a tree.
Yeah.
It's a Palo Verde tree. Just past that one, I got one that's about 4 grams. Nice piece. You can see the ground is red.
Yeah.
And you can also see darker stuff. And I'd be over there just blabbing all the different types of rocks to you. But the main thing to always remember about gold, my friends, gold always rides an iron horse. That's an old saying. We've all heard it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people don't understand what that means. But in Arizona, California, Southern California, anywhere, Oregon, Idaho, where you find deposits of iron minerals, there's a really good chance of finding gold as well.
Yeah. No, it's
in Arizona, wherever copper has been found, there is gold.
Yeah. No, it is a cool area. And then the other thing
Harkawahala Mountains, by the way.
Sorry?
That's the Harkawahala Mountains.
Yeah. No, and then the other thing is I was surprised with when you guys go out, as I've seen you kind of stop and in Canada we have, when we're traveling up north, we have moose crossings. Well, you have rattlesnake crossings when you're out in the desert there, and you stop and you let these little critters go across, and it's almost like you're looking after them.
Frank, them darn mooses is way more scary than a rattlesnake to me. All right, when I was I posted a picture a while back on Facebook. I have never posted it, I don't think, on YouTube. Me when I was like 18. But me and a friend of mine went in Ely, Minnesota in a canoe with a couple Duluth packs and barely any food, and lived off the land and canoed the first year all the way up to the English River below Etiquoken. And we checked out the big strip mine up there. Then we had to get flown out once we got to down the English River a little bit because it started icing in. And then we flew back in following late May, and canoed all the way up to Lake of the Woods.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived off the land pretty much that whole time. But we come across a portage one time from one lake to the other, and I got my canoe on my head, and I hear this thing going, this weird noise, and I hear splashing. So I throw the canoe off my shoulders into the water, and there's this big bull moose, man. He was mad about nothing. I was just standing there with a canoe, and I yelled at Don, the guy with me. I said, man, we got to get out of here. This boat's going to sink us. And we threw everything in the canoe and took off, and he come in the water after us. He's going to sink us.
Yeah, people don't realize how big those moose are. Until you're on the ground looking towards one, that's when you find out, hey, this sucker's huge. It's kind of cool. But yeah, you look after the animals out in the desert. You don't like some of the people just shoot and kill everything in sight. So it's But
rattlesnakes are fascinating. You could sit. I know a lot of you out there are going to think I'm nuts, but you can sit by a rattlesnake or right in front of it. I have them crawl across my feet when I'm sitting there talking. But you can sit by one, and if you don't fear, and you're not too curious, your body temperature, in other words, doesn't adjust itself at all, because you're not scared of the snake. You're just going, "Oh, cool, a snake."
Yeah.
They don't even pay any attention to you. They go by, they flick their tongue at you, and you already know what that means. It means they know you're there, and they just know you're a big flesh animal. And well, if they bit everything they saw out in the desert, they'd starve to death, because it takes them 2 weeks to regenerate poison. So, if the snake doesn't feel a threat, they don't do anything.
Yeah,
but it's funny. I went sitting there, be close to one. I almost stepped on one in a couple of my videos. But if you concentrate on the snake and start looking at him, I think I did it on camera. All of a
Yeah.
sudden the tail just starts going like that, and you look a little harder, and he starts rattling,
Yeah.
and then the tail will take off. But
Yeah.
he's felt your temperature rise. He's felt that you're interested in him. Other than that, they have no interest in us at all.
Yeah.
The javelina are way more dangerous. They're little bitty pig things that only weigh 40, 50 pounds at the most. When they flip their hair up and whip their tusks out, they look like they weigh 900 pounds.
Yeah, yeah, they're quite something. But
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, Bill, listen, this is a fascinating chat. I've talking with you and listened to your stories, and I really, really appreciate you, taking the time and talking with us and sharing your stories. You're a great storyteller, and thank you very much. And same thing for Tammy. Soon as this borders are open up, I mean, I think this year my plans would be I'd love to be heading towards Arizona and spending the time down there. We've got our travel trailer, so we'll be heading down there somewhere. So we'll be in touch. But I just wanted to let our viewers know you have a Patreon section for your YouTube also, so people can sign up for that and you're, like I say, you're a great person for helping and teaching, this YouTube channel of diggers and gold hunters. And I just want to, really, really thank you for you and Tammy for spending the time with us today. I'll let you go, and I'm just going to kind of wind the show down. It's always tough finding good times for doing the streams. We're on the West Coast here, so this is not a bad time. But everybody else on the East Coast, they're heading to bed, and they're out. So they'll be looking at it tomorrow, and we'll be getting some feedback on it. But again, thanks, Bill and Tammy. We'll let you guys go, and I'm going to go on and just do a little mail call here with. I've got a letter that came in, so we'll do that. So,
all right. Good night, everybody. Good night,
thanks
Frank.
a lot, Bill. Yeah, cheers. Yeah,
I'll look for you in Arizona. Don't
yeah,
make threats.
we will. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Thanks so much, Bill. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so that's a fascinating, talking with Bill and Tammy. It just a great couple, and so willing to share their stories. And like I say, I just want to thank them. But anyway, I've got mail call here. I got a letter came in from Brooklyn Treasure Hunters, and we're going to have them come out coming up. We're going to be talking with them, and but I wanted to do a little quick shout out. Today's shout outs, at the side screen here, and so give these people a little hand and a little bit of love. And we have some follow up coming soon. Is a couple of channels that we've got. We've got the Japan Treasure Hunters coming, Brooklyn Treasure Hunter, Park Rat Metal Detecting is coming up. So just stay tuned for those, and we'll be shortly. So again, finding time is always kind of tough to get a lot of people watching, but I just wanted to thank Nancy, the ambient girl, Dig. Just awesome, Nancy. Thank you very much. And thank you, Digger from Russia, for coming by. Hope to see you again sometime. And definitely Tammy, Nugget Shooterette, Mayor Video. Thanks, Marlon, for coming by. And we've got Cade, Cornelius. Thanks for coming. Who else we've had in here? Let me just go through. Gone Digging. Gone Digging has been here. Let's go back. And okay, who else? Alabama Dirt Digger, thanks for coming. And let's see. A lot of BC Treasure Trails. Jason's been here. And Southern Cross Prospecting. Some of these people are way past their bedtime that had joined us in the past. Patrick Hopkins has been here. Thanks for coming. And so anyway, I'm just going to kind of wind it down here, and we'll see you guys over in the next little while. So let me just here go on there. Thank you, and we'll see you guys on the next time.